Welcome back to Streamline Entertainment. We're going to get straight into a video from Courtney again and experiences on the Veronica Strip and some of the things that she actually encountered, her and her boyfriend. Let's get straight into it.
Do a story time of how I found it so far, in my opinion, of staying here. So it's my first time in Tenerife, and when I booked a hotel I researched about it and I seen that it was obviously on the strip, and I thought it's going to be handy for when you've been on a night out and you don't want to walk too far to the hotel and you don't want to pay fortunes in taxis. So we booked it, the breakfast's nice, the hotel's nice, the staff are really nice, but I just probably wouldn't stay here again because of where it is. So you literally walk out of our hotel and you take a left turn and you're on the main strip. So bearing in mind, when we were on the flight on the way over here, my partner was speaking to this man and he said to her, like, whatever you do not go on a night out on Veronica Strip. And I thought, you know, you hear horror stories everywhere. Everywhere's going to have the bad points and the good points. Like,
For him to say that, and he's been out there a while, basically says it all. I mean, I think he was probably just worried about them just being first timers out there and probably thought, you know, easy. But I'm glad they went because they, you know, to go in yourself, you have your own views in what you actually think about it. But like, you know, like anyone going there, you've got to have your wits about you. But this young lady seems very clued up anyway.
like, I'll just take it and I find it the way I find it when I... So yeah, we get to the reception desk and there's a group of lads and you can tell they're really shook up. And we're over here, them trying to do a police statement because they've been held at knife point. They've had the phones taken off them, the money taken off them. So straight away that sends like alarm bells in my head and I'm thinking, where have we kind of booked?
Wow. And I'm glad she said that because sometimes a lot of the things that should be reported, I'll put it in a newspaper, just to put memos out there for holidaymakers to stay safe. I mean, if it happened, in my city, London, and then it would be in the local newspaper, or there would be some kind of report on it. It just sounds they take this report, or you've had your phone stolen. They look into it, but it just seems like to me it's not a big thing out there.
But it gets worse. So we're walking down the strip, this is through the day, and my partner gets his phone out and he starts videoing himself, just like, I think he was making a TikTok, and all of a sudden, like, obviously you've got alleyways on the strip and a man runs over, grabs his phone and starts shouting like, why are you videoing me? And my partner...
It's probably, like I said, he's probably a dealer who's always there in that position. And if this dealer comes to any altercation, and you've got him on video like an hour before, or you're going through the videos, and this guy has got into an altercation a little bit more, you've got some evidence on this, people. This is why I think along the strip, the bars, the people who are dealing out there don't want to be caught on camera. Like, obviously, the Jay Slater situations where we believe that there was a massive fight. And if we'd saw those CCTV videos, we could have had a time span of Jay actually being there. And then this obviously going on to the beach in the Jay Slater situation.
Showed him, he was like, I'm not videoing you. And then the man was just like, okay, and then ran away. And I thought, obviously, if he thought he was getting videoed, then that's fair enough. But that just shook me up a little bit. But we met up with our friends and we actually went on a night out on Veronica Strip, and I didn't find it intimidating at all. I thought all the pubs were fine, all of the bars are nice, the staff's nice. It's literally, you've just got to have your wits about you. So like, I wouldn't walk around and have your money in your hand or like even have your phone out. I would literally put your phone in your bag just to be on the safe side. So yeah, the hotel's really nice, the breakfast's nice. I just would prefer to stay somewhere a bit out of the way, so it's not constant like nightlife all day and all night. But obviously I did book the hotel knowing it was on the strip. I just didn't expect it to be like as rough as it is.
Yeah, interesting experience from Courtney there, and it's good to have a young person's point of view on the strip. It does sound that, like I said, she's very clued up in what's very aware, should I say, in what's around her and clued up. And that's one of the experience. That's part one. And this is one of the reasons why I think young men, or young people, should I say, even women, go over there to sometimes they want the high lifestyle at the end of the day, but like I said, things can go deadly wrong if they're caught or dealing with the wrong people, the wrong gangs for doing something they shouldn't be doing. Have a listen to this.
Was stabbed to death during a suspected burglary in a holiday apartment in Tenerife. A recent inquest to look into the death of Andrew Ashley Alexandra Walsh, who died on May the 6th, 2021 at an apartment in Tenerife. The 31-year-old, who is also known as Ed, is understood to have been stabbed during a suspected burglary at the Island Village complex near Playa de las Americas on Thursday night back in 2021. A police report sent to a court in Aurora at the time of his death stated that Andrew had gone to the apartment with the intention of stealing drugs or money that could be inside, and sources had confirmed the dead man was known to police in Tenerife. However, his family have said that couldn't be further from the truth.
Wow. It sometimes makes you think that these people sometimes who get into situations with drugs or with the wrong people, the police more or less blame it on themselves and play it down that this is this person's fault, and if to sort of write off the case, which is just unbelievable.
5 people were arrested and questioned over the death, but a few years on, there have still been no charges brought against anyone. Following the inquest held in Lancashire this week, the coroner confirmed that the cause of death was an unlawful killing. The coroner's conclusion reads Mr. Walsh died as a result of a stab wound inflicted by an individual. Mr. Walsh's injuries are consistent with the violent death, and Spanish forensic legal documents indicate that Mr. Walsh sustained injuries which are more likely to have been offensively inflicted than defensively, indicative of Mr. Walsh being attacked and not the attacker. So guys,
unbelievable, really unbelievable. Like I said, we don't know what this guy was out there for, but he obviously came across the wrong sort of people, and it's so sad that his life was taken away from him. That was part 2, people. Moving on to part 3, we have another young lady talking about experiences in Tenerife and on the Strip.
My videos, and they're yes and no. So yes, as in we haven't touched wood, I'm not manifesting that. We haven't got like robbed or anything like that, or like we had nothing dangerous has happened to us so far. But the boys that we had made friends with, their phone got robbed on the first night. So as long as you're mindful of your belongings and you have your wits about you, like you need to have your wits about you.
I totally agree, having your wits about you. What I think as well, I think there's a lot of organised crime out there that maybe prey on people who's got their wallet out, their phones out, their cards out. And I think there's a lot of people looking around to spot someone that's quite vulnerable or maybe on their own. So obviously this lady's made some good points, but I think you've got to be aware of what's around you and very alert. With your friends, especially if your friends are a bit merry, just stay with them. That's important.
Like we got inside information that all the like lucky people are all new from Brazil at the moment. So I have a friend that works here, and she usually says that she recognises all the luckies, but when they're all them ones are gone and there's new ones in. So she was like, you just have to be mindful of some of them people around the strip, because they're the ones that are going to rob you. And if you're robbed, don't even try to get your shit back. Don't even, because my friend got robbed. They said, I'll give you your shit back for 500 quid. And so when he went up, there was 20 of them there, and they all just were like, keep the phone. They walked away, so they didn't, like, nothing happened. But you just need to make sure you're always holding your phone, always have your bag on you. Like, don't put your phone down, because swipe or no swipe it, do you know what I mean?
It's like anywhere you go on holiday, I think you're going to come across some hustlers at the end of the day. But like I said, a lot of it, I think, is organised crime and actually watching people that are vulnerable. This is what I noticed. about that people that go in Tenerife. Thanks a lot. That was I'm Not Jodie Tyrrell. So that's some interesting information from a young lady who was in Tenerife. This is the final video, and this is someone called Darth Unicorn, who's talked a lot about Tenerife and really have opened our minds about Tenerife. Do subscribe to him on TikTok and have a look of what he has to say. It's very interesting about the Tenerife and the underworld.
Your stories of living there, Tenerife, and I don't. There's no one there. Don't know who I'm talking to, and what you've seen. I am about to tell you a story, okay? And it's probably one of the only stories I can tell, purely because, and people are going to mock me for this, all right? But I do actually value my life. There is a lot that goes on that island, and the average person who works in a bar or a hotel and things like that, they hear the stories, but they're shielded from it. Tourists, incidentally, and I do want to say this, Tenerife's a safe place if you're a tourist. If you're going out there as a tourist, you haven't really got that many problems. But there are some industries out there that generate an incredible amount of money, and where you find lots and lots of money on that island, you're going to find criminals, gangsters, whatever you want to call them, at the top of that chain. I was out there in 2005, and literally at that time it was going crazy. Like my bosses, like people who ran the companies and things that I worked for and represented, they were getting shot in the street. That's how bad it was. And that's all I'm really going to say about that. But as far as my little story time is concerned, this is one of the craziest things I saw whilst living and working in Tenerife. Anybody who was there around that time, you'll remember this, and you'll know who did it as well. I'm not even mentioning the guy's name, but you'll know who did this. So there was a bar called Planet Football, and used to hang out there quite a lot, and it was exactly what it said. It did what it said on the tin. You had all these different screens in there that used to play all the main matches, and it was a local haunt, not just for tourists, but a lot of people who worked there. We all used to go there at the weekend and things like that, go and watch a match. Anyway, one day there was this guy who worked for one of the holiday companies out there, and I'm not talking about like Lum Poly and First Choice and things like that. One of the other holiday clubs out there. And he'd been asked to leave Planet Football. He'd got himself a little bit drunk, he was being a little bit rowdy. He was usually a rowdy guy at the best of times, but on this day he was being particularly rowdy. So he was asked to leave, and he did. He then returned about 20 minutes later by coming straight through the window of Planet Football in his car. He drove his car right through the window, through all the tables and chairs of everybody sat there, like literally everybody's jumping out of the way, everyone just having a beer and stuff, all jumping out of the way. And the only thing that stopped his car was the bar. He literally drove his car right through the bar and hit into the bar. He then decides to get out of his car, give it legs, and he disappeared off the island as soon as he could. I think he went to either Gran Canaria or Lanzarote, but there was a huge manhunt for him after that. And although that is a pretty crazy and mad story, there are other things that I've seen, personally witnessed, that are far crazier than that. But that's a story I'm comfortable telling you all with my face attached to it. Who else remembers that? Drop a comment if you remember when that person drove his car straight through Planet Football. How nobody died that day is beyond me. But that was it, just a normal day. We all just went to another bar.
Sounds like the Wild West over there. Thank you. That was Darth Unicorn. Do subscribe to him as well. But what got me the most, there's a lot of stories that people don't want to tell or are not allowed to tell that have lived there. It seems a written law. What happens in Tenerife stays in Tenerife. And I truly, truly believe that. Don't forget to subscribe to Streamline Entertainment, and please comment on the videos. And it's great to have experiences from people who's been out there or holidaying out there. Some are good and some are bad.